Hello everyone. In this session, we'll continue looking at building a full stack application using the Cloud Application Programming Model. In the last session, we built a really quick full stack application, but in this session, we'll kind of take a step back and look at all the various components and the correct way of doing it as well. So on the left-hand side, I have my the SAP Business Application Studio, where I'm going to develop my full stack application, and I want to put all my artifacts into a HANA database, and I want to build my service layer using the Node.js layer, and the Cloud Application Programming Model also supports the Java layer, but we'll be looking at the Node.js layer here, and then we can build the UI layer in any framework that we want. More than likely we'll use Fiori Elements or some kind of SAP UI5, or we could also use React, Angular, or Vue.js. And then once we build this application in our SAP Business Application Studio tool, then in order to expose it to the outside world, we'll kind of deploy it to the Cloud Foundry environment. And this is what we plan to do. And then adding security to the application is optional. And the reason why it's called a multi-target application is because it runs in different runtimes. For example, the persistence layer runs in the HANA DB runtime, the service layer runs in the Node.js runtime, and the UI layer runs in the browser runtime. So this is the plan. And let's get started. So this is what we had in the last session, where we put everything in the same file, and this is kind of ugly because we are like mixing the service layer with the entity layers and so on. So what I want to do is I want to go into the DB folder and move all these files into the DB folder, because all the artifacts, the DB artifacts, I want to keep it clean and I want to keep it in the DB folder. So I create a new file called schema.cds. Yes, the word CDS is kind of overloaded in SAP world. So I create a new file called schema.cds, and I'll create a namespace so that there is no collision of these entities. So I create a namespace called demo. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and copy these two entities that I have right here. Actually, I'll cut them and I'll move it to the schema.cds. In addition, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few more columns to this. So what I can do is I can add phone, which is also a string 100. And then I can add let me see, I can add address as well. Let me see if I can get the address. Now for the address, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a custom data type. Now let's assume that the address is being used by different entities. So if that is the case, then we can have a custom entity for reuse. And I'm going to create a type of address. So this is my custom data type, and this has street, cities, state, and zip. So if there is a suppliers or a company or some other entity that also uses address, then we can use this custom data type. In our case, we'll create a field called address, and then we'll use address as our entity. Later on, we'll change it to use auto-generated IDs. For now, let's stick with integer. So we have the address, which is a custom entity. So this is good for now. Let's see. And let me do CDS watch. And as I said, CDS watch automatically serves everything. And you can see that it deploys to a SQLite in memory database. So we've moved it to a database here. Now my CDS, my service layer, is now incomplete because I no longer it doesn't know which tables to read from. So what I want to do is I want my service layer, the layer that is going to expose these entities as OData service, I need for it to be aware of the schema.cds. And in order for that is I need to bring in that file, or I need to tell this this service layer about the schema.cds file. And for that, I'll use the keyword using, and I'll say demo because that's the namespace. from, and then I'll go one level up because my service layer file is inside SRV folder, but my schema.cds is under DB layers. So I'll go one level up, and automatically the auto completion shows me what to use. So this way I bring in this file, and what I need to do is I need to go ahead and tell that I want to expose this entity. So entity, and I'm not going to use this, and I'm going to expose this entity users as, and there's a couple of ways we can do it, and we'll always stick with this as select from syntax because it makes more sense to me. If you're using SQL, if you've used SQL before, then this is kind of easier to understand. And I'll say demo.users. So basically I'm saying I want to expose this entity and I want to expose all of the fields select from demo.users, and I'll also go ahead and expose entity the projects as well, and again I will do select as select from demo.projects. Okay, so that is pretty much it, and you can see that it's exposing the entities as OData service. Now, one thing I do want to do is I want to go ahead and add some bogus data, like add some initial data to this entities. So for that, I want to create a folder called data. So make sure you create the folder with the same name, data, and then inside of this data folder, I can create a new file, and it needs to follow this syntax, demo, the namespace, and then the users.csv. So here I can have some bogus data, and here I'll create another file, demo-projects.csv. So we have these two files, which is good. And what I'll do is I will go ahead and get some bogus data and throw it in here. So for the users, I have a whole bunch of bogus data. So I'm going to copy it. One thing you have to pay attention to is how the field names are structured. So you have address, street, address, city. So this is for my custom data type that I've created. And I think there is also another field called gender. So I'll create that as well in my schema.cds. I will go ahead and create a gender field. Later we'll change it to enum, but for now I'll just leave it as a string of 10 characters. And then for my projects, I'll add some bogus data here as well, and I will copy and paste this bogus data. Okay, so we have some bogus data as well, and let's save everything and let's see how everything goes when we run it. And I'm going to run it again, and you can see when I ran it, or CDS Watch automatically looks for these files. Anytime it changes, it automatically runs. You can see that in addition to running it in SQLite memory, it also fills the entities from the CSV files. So let's make sure that it is working. So if I go into this tab, I can click on projects and I can see all my projects listed here, and the same thing with users. Oh, users, something is wrong with the users. The address city failed. So the address, let's fix this. The length was incorrect. So if I go into my CDS file, and I believe the address I'll change everything to 100 for now so that it doesn't fail. Okay, let me save this, and let me go back here and let me go into the users, and sure enough I see all the users here. Okay, that's it for now, guys. In the next session we'll continue to look into more advanced topics. Stay tuned.